I'm Dr. Deb. Welcome to today's episode of our live at 1 o'clock Eastern Time that I always do. Now, those of you who are here because you received an email reminding you about it, you also noticed that one of my frustrated parts crept into the email. It crept in last night, it crept in today, but it's not really just frustration. It's me setting boundaries. I don't want to talk to myself. I just don't like it. And if you all like what I have to offer, then somebody's got to show up. So one of the questions I asked in the email, and I'm asking you now, is get back to me. You can comment, you can chat, you can email me. Get back to me and tell me what time of day you like. How about 8 o'clock at night Eastern Time, Wednesday? See, a lot of people don't like night because they're dealing with kids have homework, etc. But it's only a half hour. It's not the end of the world, you know? So here's the thing. Thank you. I got a heart. Somebody is out there. I do want communication. And that's my point, right? It says in the title here, why aren't you doing what you need for yourself? And that's what I'm doing. I'm just setting an example. A little frustration part crept in there. I still love you guys. I love every one of you, the ones who are going to watch it later, the ones who are watching it now. I appreciate all that. But the fact is, I need conversation. That's all I need. It's great to be told later, oh, I like your posts. Oh, I like the articles that you used to write in the newspaper. Oh, I like your videos too. I love it. But liking isn't enough. I'm not looking for adulation. I'm really looking for conversation because I want to hear what you're thinking. I want to hear how it strikes you, what I'm saying. Does it make sense? So please, I love that some of you are showing up. Chat in, say hi. Just chat in over there. Say hi, wave at me, do something. And tell me if you agree, disagree, have something to add. You think I forgot something, you think I said too much, whatever it is that you think you want to see more of, let me know. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so glad you're there. Hi. So, yes, I want conversation. So, let's talk about this topic. First of all, one of you suggested it. That person's not on right now, but she said in a text message, in a DM on Facebook that I just got this morning, she said things are not improved in her marriage. And so, why aren't you taking your life in your own hands? And notice, it doesn't necessarily mean divorce. It may mean doing what I did, which is speaking up for what you want. You know, if I give and people love my ideas, then all I want is you to be there and say, I hear you, or something, you know, which I appreciate you are. And just keep doing it. All of you out there. Because as I said, if I don't hear from you, I just won't have the motivation to keep producing lives. Sometimes I make myself these playlists that are on my channel, and I can do that at midnight if I want to, and it's not live, it's my free time, and it works for me, but it's not as much fun. It's not as much fun. So here's what I need right now is for all of you that are on to tell me whether 8 o'clock on Wednesday night Eastern Time works for you. Yes or no? That's all I need to know. And if it doesn't, I don't know, I'll figure something out. 8 o'clock is only 5 o'clock in California, so I figured it covers the entire evening. Oh, great. Well, maybe I'll do 8 o'clock. Anybody else? Any brave people want to say yes or no or what? Okay, I appreciate it. Let me get into the topic. So what are the obstacles? Well, one is fear. People have said, yes, somebody commented actually last night, I think it was on my Facebook post. Yeah, it's fear, but fear of what? Here's how you work through it. You say fear of what? And then you sit with yourself and you figure out what. Clear your head. Don't be anxious. Close your eyes. Breathe. Fear of what? I came up with 3 things that a person could be afraid of. Maybe I left out something, but even that isn't fine-grained enough. But let me go over the 3. One is fear of being alone. One is fear of handling money yourself. And one is fear of the unknown, the future. So let me break these 3 things down. And if there's something I forgot, please chat in and let me know. Okay? Fear of being alone. I once had a guy whose wife said, I can't live with you. And she moved out, or he moved out. I don't remember which it was. And he came to me and said, I can't be alone. I just can't. Well, why not? Why not? And this is where each person has to have a little silence, that aloneness, and get the answer. Because there's a reason why a person's afraid of being alone. One reason to be afraid of being alone is they don't want to find out who they are. Because they think, and they are totally wrong about it, but they think they're not a good person. And if they listen to who they are coming from inside of themselves, they will feel miserable. And so they want to distract themselves with silliness and company and going to the bar and playing games and shooting bull and watching excessive YouTube videos and all kinds of things like that. This one doesn't count as an excessive YouTube video, though. But why don't they want to look inside? If they're afraid of being alone because they're afraid to look inside because they think what's inside is no good, I am saying, I'm stating right out now, that's not true. You can have been under the influence of all kinds of defenses, all kinds of coping mechanisms. You can have been under the influence of them for so long that you think that's who you are. That's not who you are. I'm telling you, because who you are is something else. Who you are is good, kind, thoughtful, considerate, loving, warm, connected. And you may say, no, that isn't me. And I am telling you, if you and I, hypothetically, the person who says that, were to work together and peel away all the defenses, you would peel them, not me. I don't do that to you. I don't operate on people. I'm not a surgeon. If we would, as is comfortable for you, at a pace that you're comfortable with, peel away the defenses, you would find, yeah, the real you is that good person. You may have lost sight of who that good person is, that you really are. And if you did, I get that. I truly get that. But the reality is that is who you are. And the only way to find out is to go through the exercise. So that might be one reason to be afraid of being alone. What other reason would there for a person to be afraid of being alone? Well, they might have bad memories. They might really like themselves and love themselves, but they might have bad memories of what was done to them. If that's true, that's called trauma. And it may have been abuse of one kind or another. Even being said things, told things by parents or teachers that are hurtful and deeply hurtful could be trauma. It depends on how deep it went, how much of a jar it was to a sense of who you are, and whether there was support. Those things make a difference. So for that, the solution would be trauma therapy, and you have to be very careful with that. Very careful. Because if you're haunted by trauma and you have the traumatic memories or flashbacks that won't leave you alone, then the reality is you need the kind of trauma therapist who understands that and does not rush you into peeling away defenses. You may never need to peel away defenses, but you can still get past your trauma. So that's done with a proper trauma therapist. And if that's the case, that is the solution. What other reason might a person have for fear of being alone? Anybody want to guess or, mention it? Because what I do want you to understand is that each of these topics can go deeper and deeper and deeper. And we have to look inside more deeply. Let me move on to the next set of fears. The fear of handling your own money. I remember when my husband died, I had that fear because I really had no clue how to handle money. Here I was, a therapist. I did not know how to budget. I did not know how to take off my own taxes or how much to calculate to take off my own taxes. I was not a big spender ever, but I still was scared. When I was a kid growing up, we used to get the Sunday New York Times. In those days, the New York Times was a different paper, and the leaning politically was different. It was more even-keeled. So my parents liked it, and they threw away the business section. Oh, we don't need that. Because my mother was a stay-at-home mom and my father went to work. And that was that. So what did I know? Okay, fear of handling money. What do you do about it? You learn. You learn. You Google it. How do I make a budget for myself? How much should I spend if I got my own apartment? How much should I spend on food and clothing also? How much am I entitled to in terms of treating myself? All of that can be found. Look it up. Look into it. 90% of the information is free. You start there. And you know what? If you make a mistake, it's okay. You're human. We all make a mistake. That is the definition of being human. If we were perfect, we wouldn't have been born human. We would have been angels or some other celestial beings that do not habit this earth. So don't worry about it. But you can learn, and you can learn anything you need. And then there's breaking this one down. Are you afraid to go to school? Are you afraid you won't be able to learn because you're ADD, and when you were in school, it was hard to remember things? I've heard that a lot. It's amazing how many ADHD people there are out there who were tormented in school by their own teachers. And it's very sad. It's very sad because back in the day, teachers didn't seem to recognize what ADHD was, and people were just held their feet to the fire as little kids, and they were treated horribly. Don't be afraid of going back to learn. Every piece of research shows that older learners do better. Older learners do better in school or in any kind of educational setting because they take it seriously. They've had life experience, and they realize with their life experience that what they need to do is learn something new that they need for their life, and they take it seriously. So that's all part of the handling money, because part of it is also, do I need an education? Do I need to learn a trade or a skill or a vocation so that I can support myself and possibly my children if I were to leave? But remember, the fears here are not necessarily related to moving out, getting a divorce. They could just be about speaking up for themselves. What will a person encounter that's so terrible if you speak up for yourself? I mentioned this in another video of a client who said to me, I don't want to tell my husband how I really feel or what I really did or something, information about the marriage, because he'll get mad. Well, does he get mad now? Anyway, because you're not telling him? Yeah, he does. So what's the difference? If he's getting mad or he's getting mad, he's getting mad. Thank you. So therefore, don't be afraid. But it's easier said than done. Here's what you need to do. For the part of you that's afraid, it's just a part. It's a part of you that may have governed you since you were a small kid in school. I get that. I get that. Maybe you're the youngest in the family and you got picked on. It could be. For that part of you, you need to separate from the part, close your eyes, imagine the scared part of you right there in front of you, talking to you. And you say to them, it's okay. I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to be okay. You and I are going to be okay. Now, how do you believe that? You can say it, but how do you believe it? Well, it has to come from the heart and you have to believe it. You do. So you need to make a list, a physical list of your strengths. Yes, you may have a palpitating heart when you speak to the husband or the wife of yours that is giving you a hard time and you're afraid to confront them about something. You may. So what? I've heard that every speaker who does a TED Talk has exactly that before they start speaking. Do I have that palpitating heart when I'm going to speak? Well, sometimes I do. I'm used to these lives, but if I get up in front of a live audience that I've never spoken in front of before, I might very well have a palpitating heart. So what? My palpitating heart and I will live through it. You can still do it. You have to believe in yourself. You might want to write a script for yourself. You might want to write down what it is you need to say. And I have coached people to hold that doggone piece of paper in their hand and read from it. Yes, right in front of their spouse. And you say, if I don't hold this in my hand, I will be too nervous and I'll forget what I wanted to say and I'll sound like a jerk. So I'm going to read it because I wrote this. And to me, it sounds like it really reflects how I feel. So here goes. No problem. Will your spouse laugh at you for it? If your spouse gives you a response that is totally inappropriate and hurtful, you know what? That is their defense mechanism. That's their coping mechanism. That's not who they are. And it means they're not listening to you. Because if they're laughing, they're not hearing the point that you are making. He is always defensive with a conversation, and I'm no way attacking. Perfect point. Perfect point. Let me respond to that, and thank you for that. You might not be attacking at all, but your husband probably was given an awful lot of attacks growing up by his siblings, by his teachers, by his parents. I've even heard of coaches, football and stuff, who just put the kids down so badly and they thought that was the way they would motivate them, and it doesn't work for every kid. That is not necessarily motivating. Sometimes it's cruel and it hurts. So, yeah, if the kid grows up with that, where everything out of somebody's mouth is an attack, yeah, everything out of your mouth is going to become an attack. And so you can start by saying, listen, I want to set some ground rules here. I love you. Did you hear me say that? Ask. I love you. That's why I'm still here. Because I know the person you are is better than how you get mad at me and defensive when I talk to you. I know that. I love you who you really are, not this one that's so defensive. So here's my question. Can I tell you what I need? Like, I need a glass of water. Can I tell you I need a glass of water? I mean, you're allowed to have needs, right? Can I tell you what I need from you? Or what I'd like to have from you? Maybe it's not a need. Maybe it's just a want. Can I? Can you hear it? Or am I upsetting you before we even start? Find out. If your husband can't even hear that, then you say, what do we do? I want to be closer to you. I really do. Sex isn't enough because sex can be very mechanical. I want to feel passion. I want to feel like we used to feel. I want to be closer emotionally, which means we both have to pull off our defenses and be vulnerable to each other. How will we get there? See, questions are a great way to help a person past their own obstacles. But you shouldn't have an obstacle based on their obstacles. As long as you can set it up where they're going to tell you they're listening, that's a good start. Maybe you can hold their hand so they feel comfortable. I don't know how your husband's reactions will be. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. It depends. It's a personal thing. What do they need for you to make them feel safe? If you're loving in setting your boundaries, just like I was when I wrote my email, I love you guys. I want you here. That's all. I just want you here, And here you are. It's great. I love it. I got emails back. I got responses on Facebook back. So yeah, then I said what I wanted. I'm not trying to attack anybody. See? Do you think that will help your husband to get through it? Because, as I said, taking your life in your own hands is all about either getting past your obstacles or getting past their obstacles. And usually the obstacle on either side is fear. No one wants to be attacked. Okay, great. You know what? I would love if you let me know. You can email me. You can DM me. You can comment in Facebook. You can do a lot of possible things. You can comment here. Once this is produced, anything will work. I'd love to hear how it went. I'm seriously saying that. I enjoy helping people. I think these ideas are worthwhile, so why not share them? That's what I'm here for. I don't like that he feels that he can't be vulnerable with me. Of course you don't like it because it's a wall. You don't like the wall. So instead of saying, I don't like that you feel that way because it's a wall, say, I wish that wall weren't there. I'd like to feel more connected. See, if you spin it in a positive way rather than a negative way, he might feel safer. If you need to just vent how bad you feel, that's normal. That's healthy. But it won't work if you vent to him. So you have to be a little strategic. You can vent in a journal. You can vent to me here. You can vent to your friend, your best friend, but just one. Don't do it to everyone. It's not so nice to spread your personal stuff around about him. But you can vent. You can vent like I sometimes do. I walk up and down the hallway in my apartment and I kind of, yeah. But then at some point, you have to say, okay, I want to fix the problem. Venting is good, But now I have to be solution oriented. I have to fix the problem. So I can't vent to him. I have to make him feel safe. That's what I mean by taking your life in your own hands. Venting is a normal and healthy thing to do, but it just doesn't work to go anywhere. It just ventilates your feelings. It doesn't go forward. So what you want is a way to make him and yourself feel good. If you express your feelings, I had another example of myself actually yesterday. So before I had this whole thing about, oh yeah, on Thursday I've got to do my live. What shall I do to get people on? I also had another scenario where I'm on a new, a new directory for therapists that live in New York. I don't know where you're from, but I wanted to be in this local one because I really can't do therapy over state lines. I have a coaching program, but therapy is different. And I did an Instagram talk for this group, and I never went on Instagram in years. I had created an Instagram account, but I never used it. And so they walked me through a video showing me how to get on their accounts. And I did the talk. And the next day they said to me, oh, you did it on your account, not ours. And I'm like, what? I was very angry at myself. How did you mess up? How could you do that? And then I started thinking, and I said, they knew that I didn't have experience. They could have walked me through it a little bit more personally, like maybe a Zoom call where I hold up my phone and I show them where I'm at. They could have held my hand a little more. All of a sudden, my ventilating on myself changed to requesting a solution from them. And so I texted and I wrote an email and I said, I feel very sad that didn't work. I really wanted that talk, that live that I did, to be on your channel, not mine, because I've got my own. I wanted this on yours. What solution can we have going forward? I think I should download it off of my account and upload it to your account. See, now I made a solution and I got an answer back that said, no, we don't do that. We can't do that. And I wrote again and I said, is that your policy? If so, maybe we need to revisit that policy because it's important to me. And I think it would very much benefit your listeners if this were on your account. And when I finished and I clicked send, I felt 1,000,000% better because I not only ventilated, I made a solution I fashioned a solution out of what bothered me. I felt great. And what's more, I wasn't blaming myself anymore. And I wasn't blaming them either, because once you do a solution, you're out of blame mode. You're just saying what you want. I didn't hear back from them, or maybe I did, but I was busy. I didn't look at my email lately, but that's the point. I felt better then and I feel better now, and I'm done with the problem because I did what I could for it. See? So not liking the way things are makes sense. Oh my God. But it doesn't get you toward the way you want them to be. And that's what you need to do. So the steps you need to take are, first of all, analyzing what you're afraid of or what's bothering you or what you don't like. What you want is connection. That's clear. Why can't he be vulnerable? Why can't he expose his heart and soul? Well, the answer is he's afraid. He won't admit it. Tough guys don't do that, but that is the reason. The men are all. That's why they die younger. I don't know why they say in this country it's all about male privilege. The men die younger. That's a statistical fact. So I'm not so sure. They're very stressed. But anyway, we won't go there. I'm not getting into politics. Yeah. The point I'm making, though, is that you want to analyze what the fear is or what it is that you don't like, what's bothering you, what makes you mad. You want to give yourself love. You want to tell yourself, like I did with the email that I wrote to this other platform, you want to tell yourself, I'm going to take care of me and do what it takes to take care of how you feel about yourself. Give yourself more and more love. And then create in your mind the very clear boundaries of what you want, what's okay, what's not okay. And then prepare to tell your spouse or take action if you just reach the limit and they won't listen. Sometimes I have found, very sadly, that people will spend 20 years giving their spouse 20th chances and 100th chances, and then they file divorce papers, and all of a sudden the spouse writes me an email or calls me up and says, you got to help me, and then it may be too late. So you want to get really clear with them that you're very serious, that you need to fix this or we're done. And I don't want it to be done. That may be a boundary, I don't know. But you have to take the steps for yourself. You're always alone anyway. Wow. Okay. So what you need to do is face yourself. What do you want? I want to connect. So you love him. That's a bottom line. And I think he needs to hear that message. In spite of everything, I don't know why, I do love you. You may not believe that. We've fought a lot, we've fought a lot, and maybe you don't believe it, but I do love you. You tell him that. I want to connect. How can we do that? He'll say, I don't know. He will. At that point, you might look for therapy to help you because you can't be his therapist. I can be his therapist if you live in New York. If you don't live in New York, then I can suggest my coaching program, or I can refer you to a different state because I know the best people because they've all done IFS, which is what I do. So the most important thing that each of us can do is figure out what the obstacles for us are and take steps to get past them so that you live the life you want. And I promise you it's possible, although you may have to turn the threat into a reality so that they get the message. And you can tell them, I don't want that. I love you, but I don't want to be alone when I'm with you. I want to feel connected. And I want to hear from you how it goes. Take care. Thank you all who did join and all those who will see this later. Please comment. Please share so I don't feel alone. See? It's you that I'm doing this for. Take care, everyone. Be well.